Okay. So yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, obviously.
Right, nice
if you want,
one.
I can sort of squat while I do it as well. Sort of like.
My previous iPhone photo shoot produced some pictures that people really liked, but today I'm far more interested in those that I rejected, of which there was a lot. Whether they were duplicates, underexposed, posed wrong, or composed poorly, from a 2-hour shoot there was 77 rejects compared to just 13 final images. And that hit rate is just not good enough, which leads me to today's challenge. This is Eris. Eris is a model who I booked for the next hour. And in that hour, I hope to fix the mistakes I made last time and substantially improve my keep to reject ratio. And my plan is to just really stop, just slow down, even though I only have an hour, just like, because she's so expensive. Just pay attention to my settings. You better be good. Right, you're not bloody cheap. Let's go. Come on, jeez. So one of the issues last time was exposure. They were all well, not all, they were mostly underexposed. So today I'm going to take a test shot. I'm going to use the waveform in halide, and I'm using the clipping warnings, the zebras. I really don't care that the sky is clipping. Can you see how the sky is clipping in the background? I just don't want her to clip. So if I just take a shot now, and the exposure is all right. It's quite good. In fact, it's spot on if I do say so myself. So yeah, the facade that I know what I'm doing can continue. Looking good. Also, is it an issue for you? Because usually you can hear the DS.
Click, yeah.
You can't hear the click, can you? If I get like a click sound, can I try and? Did you hear that? I'll turn the volume up a little bit. Oh, it's taking pictures. Let's try again. Wait. Oh, it's so quiet. No, I will go. Shall I say click when I'm taking your picture? Okay. Right. So you've probably seen this thing from Small Rig. It's a cage. Small Rig basically reached out to me and said, pick one of our products and we'll send it to you. I'm like, okay. So I picked this thing. It's meant to be for video, but I want to try it for photo shoots because I'm kind of awkward like that. But it will take Moments lenses, and because the telephoto lens on the iPhone 13 Pro Max is not, I gave it a positive review, but it's not great. I'm going to try the Moment one. I'm liking the look of this Moment lens. Nice. So far I'm shooting in RAW. Let me switch to Pro RAW now. And now when you switch to Pro RAW, you have to go out of manual and into auto, because Pro RAW does not play well with manual mode. So we switched to auto, so now the camera's doing all of that.
Do you guys want to?
No, I do.
That's nice.
Right, if you're going to go, you need to use it.
So I didn't think this would be good for the photo shoot, but I'm actually finding it really, really comfortable. It's not making my photos better, it's just enhancing my experience of holding the phone, if you know what I mean. And it's also keeping my phone safe. I'm pretty confident I could drop the phone now and it wouldn't break. So the problem in halide, whenever you tap to focus, it changes the settings, but today it's behaving quite well actually. Can you look over this direction? Nice. This will win you any gig. Try this.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Is that?
Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah. Like.
Here's the blue steel.
No, that was Magnum. So yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, obviously.
Right, nice
if you want,
one.
I can sort of squat while I do it as well. Sort of like.
So last time I filmed in Worsley, we shot under that bridge right there, and This one just looked so cool under that bridge with these lights on. So I've come back and I've been sent these lights by a company called Pixel, I believe, and it's their Liber. How would you pronounce that word?
Liber.
Liber, yeah. It's their Liber pocket video light. Again, this is meant to be for video, just like this cage is, but I'm using it for a photo shoot because, like, I want to shoot under the bridge, but I wouldn't with the iPhone because it's just no, just don't even try and shoot under the bridge with the iPhone. However, different story when you have one of these. So I'm going to attach it to the small rig cage that I have. It gets really, really bright, comes with this great little layer of diffusion, which is really cool, and I can adjust it from the iPhone itself. So there's an app on the iPhone where I can like choose different modes, different color, temperatures, different colors themselves, RGB and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I think they're great so far. So I'm keen to see what they do in this photo shoot situation. Right, okay, so if you look at the light that's on her right now, it looks pretty bad, which is definitely her fault.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I get the settings and now watch what happens. Let's see what happens if I turn on the light. Click. I'm getting close because of the light. Wow, cool. Love that. That's cool. That actually looks quite cool. So I'm taking advantage of both the light here and this kit I'm using to balance the phone and the light at the same time. This is definitely what they were both intended for. I said I was going to slow down and take my time and do all this stuff. I haven't. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, do you even need to? Because look what we've just done on a phone. I mean... So how did I do? Well, I took a total of 123 photos, and this is definitely the shot of the day. This is profile picture material for this guy right here. No, of course, this is a reject. And speaking of rejects, I definitely got caught up in the fun of the shoot, so I quickly forgot about the whole taking my time thing, as you can see by the fact that I took 8 here, which really wasn't necessary. So I ended up with 68 rejects from 123 photos, which means 55 were keepers, and that is a lot better than I did last time. So I'll take that. That is definitely an improvement, but I've still got a ways to go. So let's have a look at this photo here, one of my keepers. If I hold my finger on it, it removes the edit, so you can see the before and then the after. So the first thing I did was went to the profile and I chose an Adobe neutral profile, just to, like, it just takes out some of that, gives it more of that faded sort of look, which I wanted for this photo. And in the light panel, you can see what I've done there. So I just brought the exposure down almost by a stop, bit more contrast. I mean, didn't really need that contrast, to be honest. We can remove it. And this is a raw file, it's a DNG file, and in Lightroom kind of applies some default edits. Like you can see +15 on the whites, -5 on the blacks. It's just what Lightroom does. Into the curves, so we have the point curve here, and this one on the left kind of fades the blacks and things. This point here kind of backs that up, gives you more finesse, more control over that. So if your fades aren't working in the blacks, then try adding a point right next to it. That should help a lot. Then we've got this one in the midtones here, and then nothing towards the highlights and the whites. Yeah, this picture, if I get the histogram up by double tapping 2 fingers, not much going on in the histogram, in the highlights or the whites for this photo, so that's fine. Back into the curves, and we've got R for red, G for green, and B for blue, and you can see what's happening there. Then we have the parametric curve. And this doesn't really do much for this photo, the parametric curve, but I like to mess around with it. I'm getting more into the parametric curve recently, and I've been enjoying it. One other thing about not taking you through the edits live, back in the day when I was learning Lightroom and things like that, I used to watch Lightroom tutorials, and I just wanted to see the settings that the photographer was using. I didn't need them to take me through them live. So past me would have found value in just seeing the settings here. So we have some grading, I think, in the midtones. Yeah, a little bit just towards the blues here and nothing else. So if we just go back, yeah, feel free to pause if you want, but I am going to be changing the colors of this photo again in lens distortions. That's just my workflow at the moment. That +8 clarity is a default Lightroom thing. The vignette is mine, of course. I want to just draw a little bit more attention to her, so we throw the vignette on and add a bit of sharpening because iPhone RAW files need sharpening. And I almost neglected the HSL color mix, so we've got some reddish going on here. Nothing in the oranges, nothing going on in the yellows. That's going on in the greens. The greens are going to get even more desaturated later on when we go into lens distortions. Aquas, blues, purple and magenta. So that's it, that's the Lightroom edit that I did. And there's the before, there's the after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this file. Can we export this as like a TIFF or something like massive? We can. So I'm going to export as a TIFF on it. Largest available dimensions, 16-bit, like no compression, just this big ass TIFF file. And do we want to include? Yeah, we want everything. Keep everything, please. And let's export that to the camera roll. So now we're going to jump into the Focus app. And the Focus app has like straight away just, yes, I am enjoying Focus. Thank you very much. Go away now. Yeah, I haven't done anything in Focus. It's actually worked really, really well. I'm really surprised that like it's got this right. I thought this brick wall here was gonna, wow, that looks cool, doesn't it? That looks really cool. I'm tempted to just share that. That looks awesome. I love that, but I won't. So I'm going to just tap on her. And yeah, it's done a really good job of picking up on the fact that this wall wasn't part of the photo. Wait, well, not part of the photo. It's not on the same plane as her. Come on, Dave. So yeah, no changes to make. A1 lens if you're curious. Haven't done anything else to the settings if you're trying to follow along in the Focus app too. I'm going to export this as, let me see, can I do a TIFF? Yes, let's do TIFF. And the highest possible resolution, please, which is that apparently. I think because it's been rotated a little bit in Lightroom, we've lost a couple hundred pixels of resolution there. I'm going to overwrite the original. I think we don't need that original from Lightroom. The original is already, it's still in Lightroom. So yes, please modify that photo. And here we are in lens distortions. So I love these first three. They just like, yeah, they're just so cool. These dark pearl ones. I also like Venture Teal as well. I mean, any of these would work well for this photo. It's, I mean, the photo is just that good, clearly. No, obviously these filters are just like, either they suit my style of photography or they're just that good. Maybe a bit of both. But some of these dark pearl ones look pretty cool. So let's go for, could be any of them, couldn't it really? Looking at the skin tones as well, the grass. Let's go for this one because of the skin tone. Ooh, no, maybe not. Yeah, let's go for this one, the very first one. And next I want to add some shimmers. And I want some big shimmers to like not just be like covering her and stuff like that. I want some big ass shimmers. Do I even need this shimmer? I mean, the one on Instagram, obviously I've edited this photo before. I think I used this one on Instagram. Is it needed? Is it actually needed? The shimmeriness? I don't actually think it is. So maybe we can just get rid of it and keep it like that. So I'm going to export that. Export, of course, please, as a TIFF file, TIFF max. And export failed. Why did it fail? Do you have enough free space on your device? Yes, I do. Do it. Thank you. So that is the first picture. Here is the before and here is the after. So next we have this one. This is, of course, darkroom now. This is no longer in Lightroom. And again, I've made a preset. So this preset is called Eris, after the model. And I'll take you through it. So this is the before and this is the after. And if we go across to this panel here, we have the exposure. It was dark. I did get my settings a little bit wrong because, as I said, didn't really take my time as I was supposed to in the challenge. If I have a quick look at the metadata, we have the settings of 1/83 of a second. Bit tough though, because if I was to go to like 1/40th or 1/50th of a second, I risk introducing camera shake into the picture. Although I'm not sure how it would go on about that actually, because I was using the Moment 58mm telephoto lens. Clarity. So clarity is different in darkroom than it is in Lightroom. So in darkroom, it's nowhere near as like obvious and, you know what I'm trying to say, garish. I think that's the right word. Like, oh my god, it's way over the top. So I can go from 0 to 50 and it's a much more subtle, I think it uses semantic segmentation, I think, which is where it like detects where the eyes are and the lips and things like that, and it will add clarity accordingly. So that's really cool. Shadows, just lift those shadows a little bit. A lot of my edits are about lifting the shadows, as you'll see. So got some fade there, which certainly does that. Some grain. She looks like a girl who needs some grain in her photos, and a vignette, of course. And sharpening, again, like iPhone RAW files need sharpening. And so we have shadows being lifted here in this 30% region in this curve. Got a bit of fading of the shadows with this one in the blacks, and then nothing towards the highlights again. If we bring up the histogram, I think, can we show histogram? Yeah, it's not showed up. Never mind. Anyway, let's go to R for red, G, and then B. And it hasn't, if I turn the phone to the side, oh, there's a histogram. Very shadow heavy picture, as you can see. I think I can get rid of it, yeah. So this is what the curves are doing before and after. So it's just making the picture pop a little bit more than it was before. And then into the hue, saturation, and luminance. So here's the red, just saturate her lipstick a little bit more. No need to saturate her hair anymore in the oranges, like, ooh, radioactive. And yeah, so yellows, greens, nothing in the aquas, blues, purples, magentas, nothing. That's it. That's the whole edit. So again, export the photo. Got a TIFF going, so I'm gonna replace the original, but can be reverted at any time. No, save a copy this time, please, darkroom. Cool. Then I'm gonna go once again into the focus app, and yeah, it's worked perfectly. It's amazing. Like, this bit of her hair here doesn't look great. The edge isn't the best, but if you choose the right lens, like this Moment 58mm lens has put a nice little bit of blur on the background already, which is really good. It's better than what you get with the built-in telephoto lens on the iPhone. And so if you come into the lenses, you can choose like this A1. I think that's why I chose the A1 lens in focus, because it's not like a perfectly smooth blur. It has got textures and shapes to it which do hide like rough edges. And if you do get rough edges, you can also like decrease the aperture, which helps it blend in a lot more as well. But no need to do that here, thankfully. And again, like, nothing left to do in this photo in the focus app. It's just one touch and it's done. So well done, focus. I'm going to overwrite the original this time. And now I'm going to do something a bit over the top in lens distortions. In fact, I edited this photo before I recorded. Bob Ross, he didn't used to paint live his picture. He would paint one beforehand, then he would paint one for the TV show, then he'd paint another one, taking his time a bit more, that would go on display. So he would actually paint the picture 3 times. And because I'm as good as Bob Ross, I'm editing, you know, I'm doing it before as well. So if I show you the one I did before, it has like smoke and that on it. So if I copy those edits, and I've just pasted the edits into our new picture in lens distortions, because it's a bit difficult for me to do this again, I think. So if we have a look here, I don't think have they pasted 100%, because anyway, let's have a look what I did. So I've used Venture Teal, the last one, and I've added some smoke, which is a bit out of left field, but like it suits her, I think, with the leather jacket and the dark bridge, and like the hair stands out like against the smoke. I think it looks pretty cool. It's not something that I would usually do, but the edits haven't pasted perfectly. The smoke is a bit high. Need to move the smoke down a little bit, and yeah, so it's done it again. Look, did you see that? You tap edit, the smoke moves down. Tap the tick, the smoke moves up. Anyway, on the screen will be the final image. This one, I'll probably take it into Photoshop and just edit the skin a little bit, but not much. And yeah, so those are the edits. So that was me attempting to like improve on what I did last time. And yeah, I improved my hit to reject ratio or keep to reject ratio, but I didn't really follow the challenge that I set out for myself at the start of the video of taking my time. I get drawn in too much, you know, I get excited. I'm happy to shoot. I love shooting with my iPhone. I love shooting people. Like shooting portraits is what I love to do, even though on my channel so far I've only done landscapes. And I've said a few times on a few different podcasts that landscapes aren't my first love. I don't actually, you know, landscapes aren't my thing. I'm not a landscape photographer. By trade, traditionally, I've been a portrait photographer. And like back on the cruise ships, it was so different. You were like, I was a machine on the cruise ships. You know, you had 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you were lucky, with a couple who were on their holidays on the ship. You had to take them around the ship, photograph them in all these beautiful locations, sunset, you know, the ship had its natural beauty spots. And then you had to edit those pictures and have them ready to show the couple within like an hour. And that wasn't just with one couple. You had like sometimes 4 or 5 different shoots. So like you didn't have any time to be messing around with taking duplicates or getting your settings wrong. You were a machine. By 3, 4, 5, 6 months on the ship, you were just like, you were a factory. You know, it was amazing. So obviously I'm far removed from the ship now. I've lost that, and I'm, you know, trying to get back there. Repetition is the key. You know, if you're trying to learn a new skill in photography, or improve your skill in photography, just repeat it. Do it again and again and again and again and again, and then that's the solution. There isn't going to be a quick fix. There isn't going to be an app. Hey bro, which app do I use? You know, like, it's not a good question if your goal is to improve your photography. And again, I'm getting into podcast territory, so I'm gonna nip it in the bud. It's probably a long video. I don't care. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Back at end.